Do you want to know how to deploy your Angular application live into Netlify? Do you want to know how to make your deployment life easier by enabling continuous deployment? Do you want to know how to fix the routing issue that you will for sure face when you are deploying any single page application? Then you are in the right place. In this session, I am going to answer you all these questions. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Balaji and in this channel I post weekly videos on Angular, React, Python and C#. So if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing it. Let's dive into today's topic, that is how to deploy your Angular application. So before showing you the optimized way to deploy your application, first I will show you the manual approach that will help you to understand the things better. So here are the steps. So in order to deploy your application, you need to follow these two steps. The first step is you need to build your app for production, and then after that you need to upload that production ready code into the server. In our case, the server is Netlify. So first of all, what is production build? What it will do? So whatever code that we write in our Angular application cannot be understood by the browser directly because we are using TypeScript and many Angular related syntax, which cannot be understood by our browser. Our browser can understand only JavaScript. So this production build helps us to convert our Angular code into an efficient JavaScript code that any browser can understand. It will also help us to optimize our code by making our code as small and bundled as possible. One small note, the production build uses environment.prod.ts, not environment.ts. So make sure you have all the production configuration in your environment.prod.ts file. Okay, we saw what a production build is all about. Now we will see how to do production build. If you are using Angular version less than 12.0 means you can use this particular command ngbuild-prod to build your app for production. Suppose if you are using Angular version 12 or any version above 12 means you can just use ngbuild. --prod option will be applied by default for us. In my case, I am using Angular version 12. So I can just use ngbuild, or even I can use this npm script npm run build to build my Angular application. So before actually building this application, I will just show you how my application looks. So this is the application that I built just for this demo. So here we have 3 routes. Currently I am in home page. If I click this user link means it will navigate us to the users page. If we click the products link means it will navigate us to the products page. Suppose if we are trying to access any invalid path means it will redirect us to this not found page. So this is the application. Now we will build this application for production. So I will open my VS Code. I'll create a new terminal. So you can either press this plus icon or you can go to this terminal, new terminal. So here I'm going to make use of this build script. So you can type npm run build. Note, if you are using Angular version less than 12 means you have to run ngbuild-prod, or if you are going to use this build script means you have to modify the script by adding -prod here. In my case, I don't want to do that because I am using Angular version 12, which will by default do the production build for us. But in your case, if you are using version less than 12 means you have to use -prod option. Okay. So now I will build this app. So it will take some time to complete. So I am going to pause my recording and then I will continue once the build is done. Okay. Okay. The build is done. Now in your project directory, you can find this new directory, dist directory. So I'll open this dist directory. Inside the dist directory, there is one another directory, which is same as your project name. In my case, that is deploy-demo. So we are going to deploy the code inside this directory into a server. But before actually deploying this application, we need to first find out what kind of server we need to deploy this application. In order to decide what kind of server we need to first find out what kind of application it is. Any single page application, including our Angular application, is just a static website. Means it is just made up of HTML, CSS and client-side JavaScript code. Means it has no server-side code. So in order to deploy this static web application, we need a static site hosting. Means we need a service provider who offers us a static web server to host our application. Netlify is such a service provider who offers us a static web server to host our application for free. Now we will see how to deploy our code into Netlify. For that, I'll open my browser and then I will go to this URL, netlify.com. If you don't have a Netlify account means you should first create it. It is absolutely free. It doesn't require any credit card details. If you already have an account means log in into it. In my case, I already have an account, so I will log in into it. Okay, I logged in. You need to go to the sites. Here you can manage list of all the sites that you deployed previously. In my case, I already deployed few sites. If you haven't deployed anything means this list will be empty. And then here you also see one another option. If you want to deploy a new site means we just need to drag and drop our output folder here. So I will do that. Okay, I will open my project folder and then I have to move this deploy demo directory because that actually holds my single page application. See, here is my single page application. So I will move this deploy demo directory here. I can just drag and drop. So dragged. Okay. It is deploying. Okay, it is published. Okay, now I can go to this URL. I'll press this URL. We'll see. Yes, we hosted our application. See, it's very simple, right? We just need to build our application and then we just need to drag and drop our output folder into Netlify. That's it. Okay. If all the routing still works. Okay, fine. Now we can even share this URL with our friends and ask them to visit our site. But before taking that risk, we will test this application once again. So what I will do is I will just refresh this page. We'll see whether it is working or not. Oh, what happened? Page not found. Just now it worked. Okay, I will try to go to the application once again. Means the root folder once again. It is working. I will refresh it once again. It is again working. But the issue is coming when I am directly trying to access any page. See, currently like I am in this users page, I will try to access this users page directly. Means, okay, I will just copy this path. I will go to a new tab. I will paste it here. Press enter. See, page not found. So this is one of the most common issue that we all will face when we try to deploy our single page application to any server. So we will first try to understand why this issue is coming and then later I will show you how to fix this issue. Okay. As you all may know, like using Angular, we can build single page applications. So unlike traditional multi-page application, we won't have multiple pages in our Angular app to manage different pages, but we'll be having only one HTML file, that is our index.html file, and then all the contents will be dynamically populated into that particular file. So only like it is known as single page application. But how routing works in Angular? It is just a magic done by Angular routing package. So basically what it will do is like it will watch for any changes in the URL bar. If something changes in the path that comes after our domain means it will render the corresponding component that matches that particular path. So in the same page, by looking at the path in the URL, we are conditionally rendering different components. That's how routing works in Angular. But you should note one thing, all these routing concepts will work only if our Angular app was loaded by our browser. This is called client-side routing. We are doing all the routing in the browser with the help of Angular. Now we will try to understand what's actually happening when we are sending requests to our Netlify server. Here we have two entities. One is client, which is our browser, and another one is our Netlify server, which actually holds our production ready code. So whatever request we are sending, our server will try to handle that request first and then it will return the response accordingly. So here in this case, we are sending a request to the root URL without any path. So in this particular case, server will return the index.html of the root folder of our application. So in our case, this file will be returned because this is the folder that we uploaded into Netlify. So index.html of this particular folder will be returned as the response. We will confirm it by checking the page source of our web app. So I will open page source of this page by pressing Ctrl U. Okay, this is the page source of the users page. Okay, this is the page. See, this content is the content of our index.html file. Okay, once this index.html file got downloaded by our browser, it will send subsequent request to our Netlify server to download our application CSS and JavaScript code because we have corresponding script and link added in our index.html. So this is how it works. When we are sending a request to the root URL, it will return the index.html of the root folder, and then that particular file will download the CSS and the JavaScript part of our application. Now if we are trying to navigate around different paths by clicking different links or button in our application means that will work because we already downloaded our complete application code plus Angular code. So they will take care of route handling. Okay, now we will try to understand why our requests are actually failing if we are sending a path along with our initial request. Okay, here we are sending a request to our server with some path. For example, consider that path as user path. In this particular case, what the server will do is server will first try to handle the route on its own. In the previous case, as we didn't attach any path details along with the URL, it will return the index.html of the root page. But here we are sending users in the path. Now what it will try to do is it will try to find users folder in our root folder. Suppose if it finds users folder means it will try to return the index.html of the users folder. That is how it will work. But in our case, we don't have any users directory inside our published directory. So only we are getting page not found error. Got it? Now we will see how to fix this issue. Currently, we are facing an issue because our Netlify server is trying to handle the initial request that we are sending. It is trying to parse the path. But we already saw how Angular routing works. So the traditional approach of handling a route is not possible here. So what we can do is we can also delegate our initial route handling task to Angular because it only knows how to do route handling. But how to delegate this task to Angular? Simple. We just need to return our index.html as a response for any request. Okay, what is the point of returning index.html? We already saw that if we are returning index.html as the response means it will subsequently download our complete application code including Angular. So once the Angular got loaded into the browser, it will do route handling. In order to return index.html for any of the requests, we need to configure our server. How to configure our server? By adding _redirects file into our production code. But I want to note you one little thing. The solution that we are yet to see will work only for Netlify server. It won't work for other servers. For example, it won't work for Firebase. It won't work for AWS. In order to configure the other servers, you need to read their documentation only. The technique still remains same, but how to do will differs from different servers. The trick that I am going to show you will work only for Netlify server. Okay. Now we will see what is this _redirects file and how to configure our server using this file. So as the name itself suggests, this _redirects file helps us to write our redirection rules. For example, if we want to redirect one request to some other request means we can write all those things here. We can have any number of redirection configurations inside this file. Also, we should write all our redirection configurations in this particular format. First, we should specify our from path, after that one space, and then to path, and then one another space, and then finally we can optionally specify our response status code. That part alone is optional. Here are the few examples. Here we are trying to redirect all the requests that are made to the home page to return our root index.html file. In this example, we are redirecting all the requests made to the customers page to return users page. Here the index.html present in the users directory will be returned as the response. And then in this final example, we are redirecting all the requests made to the news page to return index.html of updates/news folder. So in this way only you have to format your redirects file. Now we will go back to our case. In our case, what we want to do? We want to redirect any incoming request to return index.html of the root folder. So in order to match any incoming request, we need to write /star. This star means any path. So here we are redirecting any incoming request to return our root index.html. Okay, now we will add _redirects file in our production code. So for that, I'll open my VS Code And then in this particular folder, I have to add my redirects because this is the folder that I'll be deploying into Netlify. So I'll add the redirection rule here. Now we will redeploy our application. So I'll go to Netlify. Here I am in site overview page. I'll go to deploys page. Okay. Here we have an option to drag and drop our folder. So I'll drag and drop my production code. Note, inside this folder only we have our redirects configuration. So I am publishing this folder. Okay, it's done. Now we will test our application. So currently we are in users page. So I will refresh this page. So we'll see what will happen. Actually now we are not getting 404 error, but it redirects us to the home page. We will test it again. I'm refreshing it. Oh, it is again doing that. Okay, maybe we will try testing this site in a new tab. So I'll open a new tab and then I'll try to navigate to the users page. No improvement. Okay, again it redirects us to the home page. Fine. The issue that we are facing currently is not because of Angular, but it's because of the default status code returned by our server. Let me prove that to you. For that, we need to open the developer tools of our browser. So I'll open that. Currently, I am in the network tab. Now I'll try to visit users page. We will see what is happening. Press enter. See, did you notice here? The status code for this user's request is 301, which means redirection happened. Now you may ask, well, we are doing redirection only. So what is the point of talking about this status code? Logically speaking, we are not doing any redirection. We are just delegating the route handling part from server to Angular. That's what we are doing. So in order to delegate the task to Angular, we are using server-side redirection as a trick. That trick is just to delegate the route handling task to Angular. We didn't mean like the requested resources actually moved to some other path. We didn't mean that. So this is the issue. Wait, is this the issue? Yes. As we are returning 301 as the response status code, our browser will update the URL in the URL bar to the redirected URL. To the redirected URL means index.html, the root URL. So only our Angular can't able to handle the route because when it got loaded, the route itself got changed to the root URL. So technically it actually handled the route. So how to fix this issue? Simple. We just need to configure our default response status code. So for that, I'll open my _redirects file. And then here I will leave one space and then specify the status code for this redirection. So here I want it to be 200, which means success case. So by seeing the status code, our browser won't actually update the URL. The redirection actually happens, but the browser won't update its URL because of this 200 status code. Okay, so I will quickly redeploy this project. Okay, it got published. Now I will try to visit the users page. Yes, finally it worked. So this is the manual way to deploy our single page application. Now we will move to the automated approach. First of all, we will see what is the drawback of this manual approach. Whenever we want to update our source code, after updating it, we have to manually generate a build, and then inside that build folder, we have to specify the redirection rules also. Because every time you generate a build, our old folder will get replaced by the new build, so it will lose our previous redirection configuration. So we have to add it again. And then we have to drag and drop our production code into Netlify manually. So apart from updating our source code, we have to do all these manual steps. So only now I am going to show you one easiest way to deploy your project. That is, you can enable continuous deployment for your Netlify site. If you are working with any real-time project, obviously you will use Git to manage your source code version history. And then you will be using any of these services like GitHub, GitLab or Bitbucket to host your Git repository. So that is how you will maintain your real-time projects. Suppose if you don't know about Git means, I heavily recommend you to watch one of the crash course on Git and GitHub because that knowledge is a core knowledge that any developer should have. This video is not about Git, so if you don't have any idea about Git means, learn it from some crash course. Okay, let's come back to our topic. By enabling the continuous deployment on your Netlify site, you can link any of your GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab repositories to your Netlify site, so that whenever you are updating the code hosted in the production branch of that repository, Netlify will automatically run the build and redeploy the site for you, instead of you manually running the build and deploying. So here we can just focus on our code. Once we updated the code, we need to push that code to the production branch of our repository, and then Netlify will automatically redeploy the site for us. Okay, so that is what this continuous deployment is all about. Now we will enable continuous deployment for our site. For that, I'll first create my GitHub repository. I hope you already know how to create GitHub repositories. So I'll choose my repository name as same as my project name, deploy demo. And then you can either keep this repository either public or private. Let me go with private. And then I'll create a repository. Okay, it's done. So here we have two options. Suppose if you don't have a local repository set up for your project means, we have to first initialize a local repository. Then we have to link our remote repository with the local repository. And then finally we have to push our code into the remote repository. But in our case, as we are using Angular CLI to create new projects, it will by default initialize an empty repository for our project. So what we need to do is we just need to link our remote repository with our local repository, and then we can push our local repository changes to the remote repository. In order to interact with the Git locally, you have to install Git software. You can download it from git-sem.com. If you don't have means download it. Okay, now I'll copy all these commands and then I'll go to my VS Code. Currently I am in my project folder. Now in this integrated terminal, I'll paste all the commands that I copied. Using this command, we added a remote link to our GitHub repository, and then next we renamed our current branch name to main. Previously it was master, but GitHub recommends us to use main as the production branch name, though this step is purely optional. If you want to go ahead with master branch means, of course you can go with that name. Now, before pushing our changes to the remote repository, first we need to commit it in the local repository. So I'll do that. So first of all, I'll stage all my changes and then I'll create a commit. I'll set the message as initial commit. Of course, you can keep any message you want. Fine. I committed all my changes into the local repository. Now I will push all the changes from this local repository to the remote repository by executing this command. Okay, our push is success. Now I will refresh this page. Yes, our source code got updated. Fine. Now I am going to link this repository with my Netlify site to enable continuous deployment. For that, I'll go to my Netlify account. Currently I am in the site overview page. So I'll go to deploys page and then click deploy settings. Here under this continuous deployment, we have an option to link our Git repo to our site. So I will click it. Okay, here we have three options. Either we can link our GitHub repository or GitLab or Bitbucket. In my case, I hosted my project code in GitHub only, so I will choose it. Here you have to log in through your GitHub account and then you have to give permission to Netlify to read all your repo details. So that's what you have to do. In my case, I already did that, so it authorized me. As a result of the authorization, I am getting all my GitHub repositories here. So in this list, I have to search for my Angular project that I want to deploy. Its name is deploy demo. So I'll search for it. Okay, yeah, this is the repository. I'll select it. Here it is asking for a branch that we need to deploy. I'll choose my main branch here. From now onwards, Netlify will watch for changes in this particular branch, and if something changes in this branch means Netlify will automatically create a build for the updated code in this branch, and then it will automatically redeploy the site for us. So after choosing the production branch, we have to specify the build command. Netlify will internally use this particular command to create a build for our project. Here by default it is showing npm run build, which will internally run this command ng build. In my case, running this command is okay because I am using Angular version 12. But in your case, if you are using Angular version less than 12 means update this command to ng build -- prod. Okay. So whenever we update our production branch, Netlify will create a build for our project using this command only. Okay. After that, finally, we have to specify the publish directory. This is the place where our production code lives. Means this is the place where our build command outputs the production ready code. So in our case, it is dist/project name. So here in my case, the project name is deploy demo. So I will type dist/deploy demo. Okay. Now I will deploy the site with this configuration. Okay. See, Netlify automatically creating a build for our project. So from now onwards, whenever you push any changes to your production branch, in my case that is main branch, Netlify will automatically create a build for our project and then it will automatically redeploy the changes. Okay, so this is the most simplest way, right? We don't want to care for our deployment. We just want to develop our changes and then push it to our production branch. That's it. Netlify will take care of the rest of the things. Okay, our build is success. Now we will check this site once again. Oops, again we are getting one familiar error. Okay, first I will try to access the root page. We will see whether that is working or not. Yes, that is working. Okay, routing also working. But if I refresh this page now, means it is not working. In order to diagnose this issue, I will download the build that Netlify generated for us. I will scroll up. By clicking this option, we can able to download the build. Okay, I will click it. It is generating a zip. Fine, the download is ready. I'll click it. Okay, I'll open this zip. Okay, these are the files that are currently hosted in Netlify. See, as you all may noticed, we don't have that underscore redirects configuration here. That is the issue here. Because previously also our ng build doesn't generated that file automatically. It's we generated that file and we added manually into our production directory. So in order to fix this issue, we need to first have our underscore redirects configuration somewhere in our project. For example, in the source directory. And then after that, we need to configure our ng build command to treat our underscore redirects file as one of the assets of our project. So if it is an asset means ng build command will automatically move our underscore redirects file into our production directory. So that is the thing that we need to do now. But how to configure ng build command? Before going to that, we will first add this underscore redirects file in our src directory. Okay. So I'll open my VS Code. And then in this src directory, I will create a new file underscore redirects. And then here we need to add that configuration. So better I can copy this configuration from this file, paste it here. That's it, save the changes. And then we don't need this distribution directory anymore, so I will delete it. Okay, we added this content into our src directory. Now we need to configure our build command to treat this file as one of our project assets. How to configure ng build? For that, we need to update our angular.json file. So this angular.json file is auto-generated by our Angular CLI when we create our project itself. It is used by the CLI behind the scenes to run different CLI commands like ng build, ng serve, etc. So all the configuration related details on how to run different commands are stored in this file. So here in our case, we need to update the build command. For that, we need to update this particular path. I will show you that. I'll open our project. Here we need to go to this angular.json that is there in the root level of this project. Okay, so I'll go to this particular file. Here it is having all the projects configuration. Currently, like in this particular workspace, like we have only one project, that is deploy demo. That is the name of our project. So here we need to go to this architect. There we need to go to this build. So this is the section we need to configure. So here it is actually showing the builder. This particular module helps us to build our Angular code. See, that is part of our dev dependencies. See. So this is that module that helps us to build, and then this particular module uses these configuration options to generate the build for us. For example, here we have the output path that describes where to generate the output for this build. So in our case, that is dist/ our project name deploy demo. Okay. So similarly, in order to configure the assets, we need to update this assets array. Here we need to add the relative path of our underscore redirects file. That is src/_redirects. Now, in order to publish these changes, we need to just push all these changes to our production branch. That's it. Netlify will take care of the rest of the things. So I'll stage all the changes. Commit the changes. Fine. Now we need to push our changes to the main branch. Okay, pushing is done. We will see. I'll go to this deploys. See, it is automatically running the build for us. Okay, the build will take some time. I will pause the recording and continue once it is done. Okay, the build is done. Now we will refresh this particular page. We'll see what is happening. It is working. See now how the deployment is happening in an automated way. We don't need to follow any manual steps. All we need to do is we just need to push all our changes into the production branch of our repository. That's it. Netlify will take care of all the rest of the things related to deployment. Now we will test this approach once again. What I will do is I will just change the color of this navbar. So I'll open my header CSS and then I will update this color. Now what we need to do, we just need to create a local commit and then we need to push all these changes to our production branch. Note, if we just push it into our production branch only, Netlify will redeploy the site for us. So here in my case, I need to push it into my main branch. So I'll do that. Okay, that is done. We'll see Netlify. Okay. See, Netlify is automatically generating a build for us. Okay. It's done. See, we got the updated site. That is the power of this continuous deployment. But as I told you previously itself, Netlify will watch only for the changes that are happening in your production branch. In my case, that is main branch. Suppose consider like you are working in some experimental feature along with your friends, which you don't want to publish immediately. Means you can make use of other branches. Like you can create a new branch in order to work in that feature. You can do whatever changes you want. You can collaborate with your friends in that branch. And then once you are done with all those changes, you can merge the changes of that branch to your production branch and then push it to your GitHub repository. That's it. Only now Netlify will come into the picture. It will generate a build for our project and then it will redeploy the site. I will quickly show you all these things in a fast forwarded way. Don't worry, really in a fast forward way. Okay. So let's start. I'll create a new branch for a new feature. See, now we are in this new branch. Here I will again update the background color of our navbar. Okay, fine. We will quickly create a commit and push the changes to this branch. Okay, done. I'll go to my GitHub account. See, here we have our new branch. Now I will quickly go to Netlify to check whether Netlify ran any build for this particular change. See, it didn't run any build now because we pushed some changes to some non-production branch. Suppose if you want to move this change to the production means you have to merge these changes with your production branch. So I will quickly do that. Okay, I merged. Now I will push these changes to my main branch. Okay, that is also done. Now I will go to Netlify. See, it is running the build. Okay, the build is done. I will refresh the site. See, we have our updated changes. So this is how you will be working on any new features. Like you will be working on some separate branch and then once that is done, you will be merging it with your production branch. And then Netlify will automatically deploy the changes for you. Okay, great. Before winding up this session, I'd like to show you one little thing. That is how to change your site name. Currently, we are using the default name generated by Netlify, but I don't want to use that name. I want to give some custom name for my site. So for that, we need to go back, click the site settings, scroll down. See here under the site information, we have an option to change our site name. I will click it. Okay, I want to change my site name to Balaji Courses. Make sure your site name is unique. Suppose if you are getting an error like the site name already taken, like that means try giving some unique name to your site. Okay, so I'll save my changes. Okay, fine. Now I will try to revisit our old URL. We'll see what will happen. See, we got page not found error. Okay, now I will visit our new URL. That is balajicourses.netlify app. Okay. See, it is working. All the routes, all are working. Okay, fine. So this is how you can change your site name. Currently, we are accessing our site via Netlify subdomain. See, we have our site name .netlify.app. So this is our URL. So we are accessing our site via Netlify subdomain. Suppose if I want to change my URL as, for example, balajicourses.com means, for that, first of all, I need to buy the domain name from any of the service providers like Namecheap or GoDaddy or anything else. And then we need to link that domain name with our Netlify site. Once you bought the domain name, in order to link it to the Netlify site, you have to go to this domain management section. This option will be there under the site settings. Here, see, we have an option to add our own custom domain. So we need to click it, and then here we need to enter our domain name, and then we have to verify it. For example, if I bought balajicourses.com means I have to enter balajicourses.com and then I have to verify it. Currently, I am not going to show you how to verify our custom domain, but I will add some links in the video description. Using that, you can learn how to verify your custom domain details. Okay, great. That's it for today's session. Thank you for being with me still here. I understand this is a very long video, but I really want you to understand each and everything that we are doing. So only I took this much time. Now, similar to this video, I also have a free crash course on how to deploy your Node.js application into Heroku. This is that course. This course will teach you all the core concepts that you should know in order to deploy your Node.js application professionally. This course also comes with an ebook that summarizes all the concepts that you learned in that course. This course is completely free, and all the techniques I demonstrated in the course is also free only. So if you are interested in learning Node.js deployment, then check out this course. Link attached in the video description. Thank you once again for being with me still here. If you like this video, thumbs up for this video. If you have any questions or if you want to share something with me, share it in the comment section. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss my new weekly updates. Meet you soon in another video. Till then, thank you and goodbye.